Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Let me welcome you all in our second lecture of this week. As you all know that we are talking about the role of technology within our lives and within the businesses. So we will continue our that lecture, and by end of this lecture, I hope that you will be fine to and you will be understand to identify the role of technology in the business, examining some of the challenges that business face in managing information about key stakeholders, including employees and customers, to know the causes and partial remedies to the problem of cybercrime, and you will also be know about the emerging role and responsibilities of the organization's chief information officer. So these are the learning objectives of today's lecture. Before moving to this lesson, let's have a quick recap of what we did in our last lecture. We were talking about technology, where we learned that technology it's a broader term that refer to the application of science and knowledge to commercial and organizational activities. We also talked about different phases of technology, where we learned that there are six phases. One is nomadic agrarian, other is agrarian, third was the industrial, the fourth one was service, the fifth one was information phase, and the last one was semantic phase. These are the six phases of technology in the society, where the most important is the last one, which is a semantic phase, which began around 2000. And basically, in this phase, we have seen the development of processes and system to enable organization and people in order to navigate through the links and information available on the internet. From this, we talked about how technology is impacting the society, and we learned some of the ways in which some of the technologies like the internet, the digital divide, mobile telephones, and social media have presented both opportunities and challenges for people and overall society. In the first, we talked about the internet. Then we talked about the emergence of the internet, where we learned that now China is the one country who has having the more internet users around the world. Then we talked about some of the unwanted internet threats, where our particular focus was on spam and phishing. After this, we talked about digital device. Basically, digital device is a gap between those who have the access to internet and those who don't have through technology. This is the gap between digital divide. This gap is known as digital divide, and it has seen that people in developing countries have more gap or more digital divide as compared to the developed countries. Then we talked about the importance of telephones and mobile telephones or cell phones and social networking as well. And in the end, we talked about some of the dramatic advances that has happened in the biological sciences, and they have improved or they have a large effect or impact on our lives. These scientific breakthroughs which we talked about are, one is genetically engineering food. This genetically engineering food is also known as genetically modified food or the GM foods. These are the foods that are processed from genetically modified crops. Initially, the crops are genetically being modified, and the food is being taken from those crops. That food is known as GM food or genetically modified food. Students, then we also talked about sequencing of the human genome, where we have learned that by having a sequence or by changing the sequence of the human genomes or the DNAs, the scientists have come in a position where they can treat the patients who are at a greater risk for diseases. And these changing patterns of human genome has also helped the healthcare professionals to diagnose the disease. And at the end, we talked about tissue engineering and stem cell research. These cells, or stem cell research and tissue engineering, and the advances in biotechnology has also helped to develop some, or to replace the healthy cells, to replace the unhealthy cells with healthy cells, or tissues. So in this always, this technology has helped us in a greater way in order to save our life and in order to improve our life. So let's start. This is what we have done in our last session. Let's start our this week's lesson. As we all know that not only the technology has worked or improved our personal life, but they have also improved how, and they have also impact on how businesses are being done today. Now, every aspect of business is influenced by every is influenced by technology. This can be the distribution and sale of the products, how businesses are created, formed, and sustained, the business employee relationship, whether human or mechanical employees, and other different physical business elements. These technology has created great opportunities for businesses, but it has also brought about some ethical and social issues. And now that's why in this our this topic we are going to look on some of the emerging technologies that have presented both opportunities and challenges at the same time. The first one is e-business. During the information and semantic phase of technological development, e-businesses exchanges between businesses and between businesses and also between businesses and their customers has emerged. These exchanges generally refer to as e-business as they consist of buying and selling goods and services between businesses, organizations and individuals electronically. That is, we all know very well via internet-based systems. Now, during the past decade, and particularly during the last whole year, e-businesses revenue has increased at a faster pace, and these businesses are now considered more than that of traditional or non-electronic businesses. Now, as we all know, due to this pandemic, we don't know until when this pandemic will keep on going. So now, e-businesses has become a way of life. From large companies and smaller setup business to individuals interested in shopping online, it has become an affordable and easy to use. Then we are sitting in the home and we can do shopping as well. So e-business has become a way of our life. Then how it has transformed prevailing business models, because now business, especially the small size, discovered that adopting new technology could save them money in the long run, and it will also provide the businesses with a competitive edge over their rivals, because when the organization they are using the technology, that means this helps them to enable new services, and this helps them to operate more efficiently. That's why these technologies are transforming businesses models as well. Now, as we already have talked, that online shopping is a big business, and the dramatic growth of online purchases reflects on how shoppers' action have changed, causing businesses to change as well. Now, it has been observed that, or it has been seen in the research that 71% of shoppers expect to view in-store inventory online, and 50% want to be able to buy online and pick their purchases. And that's why now new these new trends are improving the business models, and they are changing the business model from business models to from physical business models to e-business models, and now businesses are trying to adjust and attempt to serve the multiple needs of their customers, because it's quite obvious that as technology changes, the shopping experience of the customers also changes, and the businesses do need to have changes in their business models, in their business criterias, in order to cope with the changing environment. Then finally, another use of another area where technology has made a significant impact on business is the development of robotic engineering and the increased availability of the robots. Initially, it was observed that robots were used only in high-risk situations such as bomb detection or handling toxic chemicals. But now, as they are becoming more affordable and smarter, you know that they have now generated new opportunities for businesses. Students now, we all know that robots have found their ways into other types of work. For example, they can replace workers who could be injured from doing the work previously assigned to human. That's why it can work as a substitute of many kind of labor. Then another technological breakthrough, which is in the use, is the driverless cars as well. However, importantly, just like everything has some good impacts and some bad effects, so the spread of robots in the workplace pose a clear threat to workers' employment as well. But at the same times, there are arguments that robots and advanced technology might actually increase labor demand, especially for low-skilled laborers. The presence of technology might allow low-skilled workers to perform tasks that are previously assigned only to high-skilled employees. So, in this way, employees gain much critical knowledge about new technologies. How? By doing experience on the job, and self-learning often does not require a high degree of education. So, from this, it can be said that it can we can say that whether technology creates more or fewer jobs, but the impact of technology through robot is undeniably profound, and the use of robot is increasing with every day, and maybe in the near future, more and more work the businesses will be done. Businesses will take more and more work from the robots. Now, students, as you know that with every new technological innovation comes, there comes the important ethical issues as well. So there are certain ethical issues that are involved in the technology as well. First is the loss of privacy, and the other is free speech issues. First, let's talk about loss of privacy. What is loss of privacy? Loss of privacy is when your privacy is being shared with others. Individuals are indeed under a technological microscope with vast amount of data collected each minute and available to be analyzed in great details. And that's why sometimes it happens that the marketers or job recruiters, or sometimes those who have criminal motives, they analyze data, and that's why they try to take the data, and they try to these some of these factors, they try to take the privacy of the people. That's why it has been observed that the you need to give up the expectations of privacy now, with the changes or with the advancement in the technology. We can say that invasions of individual privacy come from many different directions. For example, if we take the example of automobiles, they are becoming smarter, and then in this way, they are having internet connections, they have data recorders, and they have high definition cameras. So, this technology, for this or managing all these factors, the person needs to connect with the internet, they need to provide their data, and in this way their data privacy comes at a risk. Then smartphones are another common device that can capture vast amount of information, and in this way there can be ethical issues that can arise from the use of these smartphones as well. So that's why ethical changes on how information is collected and analyzed are becoming increasingly salient. Then comes another issue, which is the free speech issue. We know that individuals have certain ethical rights, including the right to speech. However, it's important to understand that this right is not absolute and must be weighed against its consequences for the community. For example, if an individual is sitting in a crowded movie theater, he cannot yell fire, even though some might see this as an expression of free speech, since the potential harm caused by panicked movie watchers outweigh the right of free expression. So, free expression in we need to use this authority, but with lot of caution and with lot of care. Then we have also seen that there can be certain challenge as the technology it improves, as the government the information and ideas are being more shared, the government's role becomes quite important, and sometimes government play various and sometimes conflicting role with respect to information and ideas. Sometimes if there are countries are non-democratic, government censor and restrict citizen to access some of the information, but in most of the democratic countries, what the role of the government is, it is more likely to look out for the public good and to protect the intellectual property. Now, in a number of democratic even countries or societies, governments have sometimes attempted to limit their citizens. And now these efforts have become increasingly more common and more sophisticated in recent years. We can take the example of China. China's government operates one of the most sophisticated system of internet censorship in the world. We know that China is the one who has largest number of internet users around the world. As compared to the whole world. So in China, what it requires that China-based website and blogs to register with the government, and they need to block access to many kind of information, including material critical of the government. Now, recently, what China has done, he has passed new rules requiring internet users to provide their real name to service provider, and it is also requires that all Chinese video streaming sites to receive approval from China's top broadcasting regulator to have the content banned. Um, then in Pakistan, what happened in Pakistan in 2010, the Pakistani government, with the support of conservative Islamic groups, broadened an existing ban on social networking sites, including YouTube and Wikipedia, and about 450 individual websites. Why? Because this ban was followed after Pakistani court ruled that access to the Facebook site should be temporarily suspended for 12 days because they cited that offensive drawings of the our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Uh, Despite the objections from many citizens, Pakistan Telecommunication Authority said in a statement that the ban was in line with the Constitution of Pakistan and the wishes of the people. Once the YouTube removed the offensive material, the ban on the site was lifted. Then in Iran also they did that they thought that media should be used as a form for healthy encounter of different ideas, but they also have banned that they strictly refrain from diffusion and propaganda of destructive or anti-Islamic practices. So in Iran, the government intervention on the information and ideas is quite strict. Same is the case with North Korea, which is one of the world's most recognized which is having world's most recognized censor of the internet. And however, in 2013, the North Korean government made a very remarkable decision where they allowed internet searches on mobile devices and laptops by foreigners, but not by its citizens. In all of these instances, we can say that government intervened to restrict their citizen access to information and various internet and social media sites. Generally, they have done this to suppress some political dissent or to impose particular religious or ideological views. Sometimes what a government does, a government accesses information for the public goods, and sometimes it limits individual rights. Government, it is very important for the government that they support individuals' control over their personal information and protect the individual's intellectual properties as well. So government's intervention is very important. Then now we all know that in the course of conducting ordinary businesses, many companies acquire large amount of personal information from their various stakeholders and are then faced with the challenges of using it appropriately. Technology gives business access to a great deal of information. Sometimes this is called big data, and in this way, manager often find that their strong attraction to using big data can be at odds with the protection of individuals' right to their own information. That's why two major stakeholders that are targeted by business organization for the collection of information are one their employees and the other is their consumers. Most state government rule that businesses have the right to monitor their employees at work because business need to ensure that the time employees spend on the time is productive as wasting time can result in significant economic losses. That's why the businesses found it quite ethical to access the personal information and the employees activities among on the business side, on organization side. Then consumer shopping habits are also a rich source of data for businesses because when individuals believe they are just anonymous or nameless shoppers among a pool of millions of shoppers, this is what we all feel that we are just a nameless shopper because millions of people are doing shopping. What companies do, they track the big data, and sometimes this big data is also called the metadata. They can pick out specific detail about an individual's shopping habits or preferences or tendencies. You have seen that many of the times when you provide your information on, sometimes even we don't provide exact information of our contact, but still we have provided to somewhere else. The organization or the businesses can get that information and they try to contact with us or they try to send their information, business information to us. So collection of this consumer information and the employees information can raise important ethical issues of privacy and security. That's why the question which arises is how much information companies should collect about their stakeholders, and if the collection of stakeholder information benefit these holders or not. This remains controversial. This is whether these information provides help to stakeholders or employees all through the business. Business need to access to and the use of confidential information about their employees, about their stakeholders with caution. Another very important issue regarding the effect of information technology on both government and business organization is the growing presence of cybercrime in the global community. Cybercrime, what cybercrime is? It's a criminal activity done using computers and the internet. This can include anything like illegal music files to stealing millions of dollars from online banking accounts. Sometimes cybercrime also include non-monetary offenses such as creating and distributing viruses on other computers or posting confidential business information on the internet. Cybercrimes are often committed by individuals or groups gaining unauthorized access to a business organization through its computer system. And these individuals or groups are known as hackers. What hackers do, hackers can be the individuals employed by the business organization or formally employed or are strangers and completely unknown to the business. Some violations are simply careless actions, while others are intentional as well. So that's why it's very important that government or corporate networks have to save their data and have to secure their business dealings in order to get safe from these hackers. Now, what organizations have done after facing with the serious threats of cyber crimes, many businesses have gone to great lengths to build strong defense to protect information and ensure stakeholders' privacy. These defense should be comprehensive. What the organizations think, they should be comprehensive. They cut across all organization functions, and they receive the support of the organization's executive leadership. So, what organizations have done in order to respond to these invasions of information security? They are having uh, they are often entrust this responsibility for managing information technology and its privacy and security issue to chief information officers. What these officers are, these are the officers or individuals with other similar titles such as chief security officer or chief technology officers. Many organizations, what they have done, they have elevated the role of their data processing manager by giving them the title of chief information officer as well. Now, due to the increase in costly cyber attacks, the organizations are more demanding for qualified cybersecurity experts. And now, today's technology, these CIOs are now playing very critical role. Along with reporting to the highest level within the business came additional responsibilities. The CIO's role was changing dramatically, becoming now more integrated into the overall strategic direction of the firm. Now, it is very important that whether businesses have adequately built protection against unwanted invasions of cyber attacks on their stakeholders' privacy. This remains to be seen. However, the clearly efforts are being made given the increasing cost of cyber attacks and the growing amount of information being collected and used by business organizations. So, students, we can conclude that many businesses have gone to a greater lengths to build strong defense to protect information and to ensure stakeholders' privacy. These defenses must be comprehensive, company wide, and should be supported by the organization's leadership. Business have increasingly entrusted the management of technology to the chief information officer, and these are usually the one that are being entrusted with great strategic responsibilities within the company. This is what students we were supposed to do in our this week. We have talked about technology and we have talked about role of technology in our lives and in the organizations and the businesses as well. Let's have a quick recap and then we will discuss what we are supposed to do in our interactive lesson. In our last session, we were talking about our businesses. We were talking about impact of technology on the society, on the human beings. And in this session, we talked about technology and its effect on the business, where we talked about different forms of the business like e-business, and then the technology has helped to transform current businesses model. Then due to the technology, there lots of robots and the use of robotics is increasing in the work, and this has improved the performance within the organizations as well. Some views are that while having robots, this will reduce the demand of the employees. However, there are other critiques which say that this will increase the low-skilled employees, demand for low-skilled employees when robots and advanced technology would be there. Then we talked about some of the technological, some of the issues that can involving the technology, where we can, when we are using the technology, we can feel the loss of privacy, or we can have less free speech. We can have free speech issues as well. After this, we also talked about some of the intervention which government can play. We talked about different countries where governments have played a very important role in order to control the information that is being shared on the internet. We talked about China. We took the example of our own country, Pakistan, where we banned YouTube and other channels just because of the very important thing, where the offensive writings of our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam were published. That's why the government has banned. And when the YouTube removed that offensive material, the ban on the site was lifted. Then we talked about Iran and their religious activities, where their government imposed that the media should be used for healthy encounters of ideas, but it should not be used anti-Islam or anti-religious activities, and we also talked about North Korea. We talked about that whatever precautions government do in the favor of, most of the time though government does this in the favor of the public's goods. And finally, we talked about the how the organizations can use confidential information. Basically, there are two main stakeholders: employees and the consumers, whose information need to be secured, because these are the ones whose information is mostly shared with the organizations, and organization can consider it as a big data, and an organization can use it into different purposes. That's why this information should be used by the organization with caution. Another thing which we have learned today is the cybercrime, which a criminal activity that is being done by using computers and the internet. These can be individuals or the groups who can do this, and they are known as hackers. And now what organizations are doing, they are having their chief information or chief security or technology officers within their business, whose purpose is to protect the business information, and business, and whose main purpose is to secure the business from these technological threats or cyber crimes. So whatever the information or whatever the work is being done by the organization or by the government, all should be to protect the rights of their stakeholders. Students, this is all for our this week's lesson in our interactive session. You are going, after this lecture, you are going to have an assignment. We will what we are supposed to do in our interactive session. We will talk about these two lectures. If you have any question, we will discuss. If you have any query, we will discuss in that interactive session, and then we will discuss our assignment, and we will discuss our projects as well, because of your final project presentation is just 1 or 2 weeks away. So you need to get prepared. Again, one thing which I'm saying you again and again, that you need to get prepared for your presentations. So we will discuss your projects in detail, and we'll discuss all this chapter again if you are having any query. Until our next interactive session, if you are having any question, if you feel any confusion, feel free to contact me via WhatsApp group, or by sending me an email, or you can post your question on the Google Classroom. I'll see you in our interactive session. Until then, take care and have a very good time.